What's up, butt squeezers and dudes who use nose tweezers? And it's another week in America. We're only at Tuesday, but the government shut down and Elon Musk's cutting prices. And finally, Oracle's losing money renting chips, not selling chips and building them, but just renting them. Let that sink in for a minute. Because if there's one thing that sums up 2025, it's billionaires trying to solve problems that the government created using technology, well, that nobody quite frankly understands or can actually give you a reasonable explanation to why it would fix anything. Because while the US government is closed for business, 750,000 workers are furloughed, and the Dow, well, it's still at record highs somehow, because apparently the market looked at DC and said, you know what? Let's just run this place ourselves. We don't need anybody else. It's pretty much like the parents went out for dinner for the night, got a little bit too drunk, and stayed in a hotel room. Meanwhile, Tesla, well, they dropped two new quote-unquote cheap cars, the Model 3 Standard and the Model Y Standard, which in Elon speak means we removed everything you liked and made it affordable enough to disappoint you that much faster. Because God forbid we actually make a car that is actually worth the money. Oh, and don't worry, it gets better because Oracle, they're having an AI hangover right now. They made billions renting Nvidia chips and still managed to lose $100 million in doing so. Yeah. It's like selling water in the desert and still filing for bankruptcy because that was pretty much the position that they were put in. No reason for them to not make money. So yeah, the government's broke, Oracle's broke, and Tesla's pretending not to be broke. Welcome to 2025, folks. Let's go ahead, open like some butt cheeks, and break this bullshit down. So, Tesla just announced its cheaper Model 3 and Model Y, starting at $36,990 and $39,999, which sounds great until you realize that the price is before you add a steering wheel, door handles, and Elon's tax ego in there. The new standard models are like the diet version of Tesla. Same look, half the features. You get no autopilot, no ambient lights, no leather, and I swear to God, no AM, FM radio. I'm not exaggerating. So congratulations, America. Tesla built the world's most advanced car that can't play the local traffic report. The cheaper trims are rear-wheel drive, come in three colorways, gray, white, and you can't afford red, and they removed the light bars to save money. Inside, well, it's black cloth seats like you were buying a Honda Civic. Vegan, of course, because if it wasn't, they'd get canceled. Weirdly enough, because it's not like there's 1,000 other things that would cancel that company. But let's be honest, nothing says sustainability like sitting on recycled yoga mats while charging your car on coal power. But the real reason for this quote-unquote budget rollout, the EV tax credit has expired. Elon's like, fine, if Uncle Sam won't subsidize it, I'll just make the car shittier or worse. Cool, thanks. Thank you, Elon. So these new Teslas, well, they're being built in the US and Germany, right as the company's market share get crushed in Europe by cheaper Chinese EVs like NIO, BYD, and others. The Germans are getting the 40,000 francs, I think that's what German currency is, version, or about 46,000 USD. And it's being made in Berlin, which explains why it'll come standard with existential dread. Now, the bigger picture, Tesla sold 497,000 cars last quarter, a new record, but that was before the tax credit expired. Now, demand's falling faster than, well, a Cybertruck stock photo at this point. Elon said he's, quote-unquote, wrung out costs for the barriers and motors, which is CEO code for we fired half the engineers and told the interns to go ahead and Google it because that's pretty much their best bet. But the real problem is the competition. China's BYD is selling EVs for half the price, and well, unfortunately, Europe is starting to catch up. So Tesla's new business model, you might be thinking, well, cut prices, remove features, and pray Wall Street just doesn't notice or the news doesn't break before we can pump the price up and get these Robin Hood people to buy more shares for no reason. Which honestly, let's be honest, is the same strategy as most OnlyFans creators right now. Now let's go ahead and talk about Oracle, the boomer tech company trying to crash the AI party. According to reports, Oracle made $900 million renting Nvidia chips to power AI workloads. The great news, like that's great news, right? Like who would be mad about that? Well, they lost about $100 million in doing so. That's like running a casino where everyone wins except the house. Apparently, Oracle is charging too little for its AI servers. In some cases, they were losing money renting out Nvidia Blackwell GPUs, which is basically like loaning your Ferrari to Uber drivers and wondering why it smells like regret and cigarettes. Oracle's stock dropped 7%, Nvidia slipped a bit too. And investors realized, wait, not every company with AI in the name actually makes money here. So we got some more speculation coming in. Meanwhile, their cloud margins dropped to 67%, which is the lowest in a year. You know it's bad even when the cloud can't lift your profits. But here's the kicker. Oracle signed a deal to provide 4.5 gigawatts of data center power to OpenAI, enough to run ChatGPT, your local Starbucks Wi-Fi, and well, half of Florida. So yes, Oracle's literally powering the machines that will eventually replace them. And now while Silicon Valley is playing Who Wants to Be the Next AI Monopoly, Washington's doing its own version of Survivor. The government, its shutdown is nearing its first major deadline. October 15th, when 1.3 million military service members might miss paychecks. Trump's administration is now saying furloughed federal workers might not get payback this time, which is rich because these are the same people he called the real patriots of America. Yeah, that really shows you give a fuck about them. Cool. He told reporters, and I quote, "There are some people who don't deserve to be taken care of, and we'll take care of them in a different way." What? Happy ending massages? Get real here. Translation will make them Uber drivers. A new memo from the Office of Management and Budget says workers aren't guaranteed pay, well, unless Congress specifically approves it. So yeah, America's greatest superpower right now is legal ambiguity. Meanwhile, Russell Voigt, Trump's budget director, has been freezing infrastructure projects in blue states. Because nothing screams fiscal discipline like canceling bridges, to own the libs. Senator Patty Murray called it a quote-unquote baseless attempt to scare federal workers. But hey, scaring people is the administration's most consistent policy of 2025, so shut the fuck up. Despite all this chaos, shutdowns, tech losses, and EV drama, the stock market's partying like it's, QE season again. The S&P's holding above 6,700. Gold's still flirting with 4,000 like it's a drunk girl at the bar, and traders are high on Powell's next rate cut. It's the perfect storm. Government paralysis, corporate confusion, and retail investors on caffeine and Adderall. The Fed's still quote-unquote data dependent, even though all the data's locked behind a furloughed intern's password. So Jerome Powell's next move will be based on vibes, astrology, and the unemployment rate he sees in a dream. So let's go ahead, wrap this up like a tight condom, all right? Tesla's building cheaper cars by removing everything that makes them, Teslas. Oracle's losing money renting chips to robots. And, Trump's government is shut down while threatening not to pay people who keep it running at the end of the day. But hey, at least the Dow's at record highs and your 401k could give two shits. We've officially reached the point where the economy's best performance comes when, the country stops functioning. Maybe the real innovation isn't AI or EVs. Maybe it's figuring out how to make money from dysfunction. Welcome to America. where government's on pause, Elon's on sale, and the cloud's running a tab. I'm Max Pitts. This is Trades and Gains with Investor Central Club. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment your hottest take below. Maybe we'll feature it in the next video. Anyways, see you guys in the next one. Love you all, and talk to you later.